YouTube Ozic going the GOAT House is back. The AFC Championship game, Titans versus Chiefs. It's coming. I can't wait. And I'm going over the keys to the game for both teams. The keys to winning the game, the major keys. There's the obvious ones. I'm going to go through the major keys in my opinion, getting specific for the Titans and the Chiefs. We'll do the same exact video. It may already be up on the channel for the NFC Championship game between the Packers and the Niners. Both, I think, will be very close games, and either team can win. All kinds of NFL content on the GOAT House and the GOAT House Plus. We have two channels. Please subscribe to both. The GOAT House Plus is new. Trying to reach that 40K sub goal. All kinds of NFL content, predictions, rankings. We even are getting started on the offseason. Free agency and NFL draft. We're excited. We got the content. Follow our Twitter at GoatHouseNFL. Link in the description in the comments for that as well. Constantly talking football every single day. We're talking football. We're always tweeting during live games as well. It's a must follow. If you don't have a Twitter, go ahead and make one. Patreon.com/GoatHouse. There's a link in the description for that as well. And there's a bunch of extra content on there, and you can support us. Tennessee Titans are the away team. Let's take a look at them first. The major keys of the game. I'm going to break it all down here. Try not to talk about the obvious ones, kind of go specific here, but I mean, the first one's pretty obvious. It's stick to the game plan. Let's not get fancy here. The game plan has been perfect on both sides of the ball. There's really no reason to get fancy. You don't want to outsmart yourself. You don't want to start thinking too much and thinking, all right, they're going to be ready. We've been doing the same thing for a while. Let's get some trickery going. Let's just change things up. That's what you can't do that. Titans are winning because their game plan. They're winning because it's the same game plan, but it's fairly new. It feels like the Titans were a second half team. They're kind of a fairly new team. It feels like, and the game plan is very hard to stop. It's a lot easier said than done when you say we stop Derrick Henry, we win. That's the fact, but it's really something you can't do. So I say stick to the game plan, don't get fancy, and kind of goes into it. Run the ball, run the clock. A big key to their game is running the ball because that's what they're best at. It'll put points up on the board, but it'll also drain that clock, and they don't really let teams get going. That's kind of the best thing about the Titans. They got a good defense, but when they run the ball like that, it kind of keeps the offense on the bench, kind of keeps them thinking. It's hard for them to really get going, and that's kind of key against the Chiefs. We've seen them start a little slow against the Texans. If you make them start that slow against the Titans, it's not going to be good. It's just not going to be good. Run the ball to set up the play action. So basically what they're doing, keep taking those shots. They run, and you want to run the clock, but here and there, that's when you pull the play action out. That's when you take the shots. We've seen it, against the Ravens. We've seen it, since Tannehill's come in. Teams are going to start stacking the box, worry about Derrick Henry, and that's when you're able to take the shots. So you have to run. You have to continue to do that. Hit A.J. Brown on crossing routes. They kind of saved A.J. Brown for this moment. He was my pick for Rookie of the Year, Offensive Rookie of the Year. The guy was insane. He was a big reason, not just Derrick Henry, not just Ryan Tannehill, not just the improvement of the coaching staff and the offensive line, the defense. A.J. Brown was a big piece of that while the Titans were improving. I think you can hit him on the crossing routes against the Chiefs, right behind the linebackers. They may be stacking the box, there, and then you'll have, obviously, the corners on the outside. I think you can drag A.J. Brown across behind the linebackers. You hit him, and that's where he's best. He's already got his momentum going. All he's got to do is turn upfield and go, and that's where he's best, after the catch. And he can get open, so it's pretty simple to get open once you have some speed on the crossing routes. So this is kind of the moment. A.J. Brown, Tannehill, they've been a little quiet the last two games because they were able to save those guys because they didn't really need them. And now this is the time. This is the time where you need to go all out. You're playing an offensive powerhouse. This is the time you can be an offensive powerhouse. It's time to use A.J. Brown. I specifically like him on those crossing routes. I would like more Derrick Henry slip screens. I've been kind of calling for that as they've been winning. We see him take it the distance. It's a safe play to me. It's always like Tannehill can turn. If the defenders are there, you could just whip the ball out of bounds over there, or he can run himself. There's probably going to be pressure on him. But I think they're pretty safe plays. I would like for more of those because they seem to go pretty big, and I think they'll give, if the game's close, I think they'll show some more because it's kind of one of those things where they could have saved it. They may have been saving more of that because they're just running the ball, running the clock. It's just a better way to go. I'd like to see more of Jeffrey Simmons too, a dominant defensive lineman. And only a rookie coming off injury halfway through the season. And they kind of been limiting him because of the injury, but now it's time. Once again, I think they kind of been saving him. but now it's time to really use him. And the reason I like him is because he brings, he's a big nose tackle that can, he can move around the defensive line, of course, D-tackle spots. But so obviously he's going to stop the run, but he gets after the quarterback. He gets after the quarterback pretty high level for who he is. So I would like more of him that could be involved in getting after Mahomes, and kind of what I think the personnel should look like. We saw last week they were rushing 3, and the reason for that was to contain Lamar Jackson, running outside. And smart and scrambling. It was smart to rush 3. Against the Chiefs, you got to rush 4. But what I like for them to rush 3 D linemen and 1 edge rusher, the edge rusher being Harold Landry. Correa actually had a pretty good game last week. He had a pretty good game. I think it was a good matchup for him against his former team, the Ravens. That's not really why, but I think it was just a good matchup. But I think they generate some more pressure from their 3 top defensive linemen being Jarrell Casey, Jeffrey Simmons, Daquan Jones. They have some guys rotation too, but I like those guys alongside Harold Landry against Mahomes here. I think you have a better chance of getting interior pressure as well, and if you can get interior pressure, that is a game changer because you have a quicker trip to the quarterback. So I think that's your best bet against Mahomes. Force him outside. And then you won't have to cover for a whole long, long time here. 2 linebackers, of course. Rashaan Evans is an absolute stud. He does about everything for them. And then their other one would be Jayon Brown. He was hurt last week. We'll see if he's good to go. But they also have David Long, rookie from West Virginia. Love that pick, and he's been excellent. They have Wesley Woodyard, a very solid veteran. So they're fine, really. Anybody in there with Rashaan Evans. And then, of course, 5 defensive backs. What's crazy about the Titans is they're missing a guy like Delaney Walker as well. They're missing Cameron Wake, but mainly Malcolm Butler, who to me is their best cornerback and would be crucial in this game. If they had Malcolm Butler here, they would be in good shape. But they still have the secondary. Love the safety duo. Absolutely love the safety duo. And then you have guys like Cruikshank that can come in rotation wise. Hooker, he can rotate in the slot. But then the starting corners, obviously going to be Adoree Jackson, Logan Ryan in the slot. And then Tremaine Brock, who played a pretty good game last week. It was kind of surprising how well he played. But the DBs are crucial against this passing attack. That kind of goes without saying. I would like for them to blitz Rashaan Evans more. Up the middle, interior pressure. Like I said, Rashaan Evans can blitz. He can blitz. I don't think. He can do everything, but I don't think he's going to be that important to them. In coverage. Maybe keep an eye on Damian Williams possibly if he's going out. But I think you blitz him. Maybe not necessarily right off the bat or in the first half. It's just kind of, you can't keep blitzing guys. That's how you really exhaust them. But I would like for him to be used as a blitzer more in this game. And I trust this game plan, very much too. And attack the ball, not the receiver. What I mean by that is really on the big time throws from Mahomes. There's a lot of them where, Mahomes is, probably the best player in football, best quarterback in football, best arm in football. But there's a lot of times where the ball will kind of hang up there a bit when it's real deep. He's got good velocity on the ball, but it will kind of hang up there. And so many times do, not just Tyreek Hill, but in Travis Kelce, but all these receivers, this is why they're so great. They will attack the ball. They will run at the ball. They won't wait for it. The DBs have to play the ball, not the receiver. If you're playing the receiver, if your focus is too much on the receiver, they're going to backtrack the ball. They're going to get there before you make the play, and these guys are dangerous after the catch. It only takes one slight move for Tyreek Hill to get loose. Same thing for Travis Kelce to break one tackle. Play the ball, not the receiver. Attack the ball when it's in the air. Easier said than done, but that's something that's crucial against the Chiefs. So many times these receivers get free passes to attack the ball, take negative yards, come back and get the ball, and then they create so much space where it was okay. They took those negative yards. It's actually a very positive thing. So that's something the Titans have to do. But the main thing is stick to their game plan. So many teams, I think, outsmart them. So many coaches outsmart themselves. We've been doing this game plan for so much. This defense is going to game plan for us. They're going to know. Let's try to throw them off. In some teams, you have to do it. Some teams you have to. Not Tennessee Titans. Derrick Henry, you can slow down, but it's even hard to say that. You can slow them down, but you can't stop them, and that is the key to opening up the pass. Tannehill can throw the ball. People sleeping on him just because he threw for 70 yards, 80 yards last 2 games. It's because he didn't have to throw for anymore. And he had those daggers, though. Last time he played the Chiefs, he only threw for 180 yards, whatever it was. But he had those daggers, those big plays, and that's a big thing here. It's because the Chiefs going in, everybody fears Derrick Henry. No matter if you played him or you didn't, you're going to fear Derrick Henry. You're going to game plan for him. But the Chiefs saw Tannehill beat them and come back on him at the end. So they'll be on their toes about him and, these receivers as well. A.J. Brown wasn't really used a whole bunch last time they played. I would like for him, that was another key I talked about, I would like for him to be used much more, and that could be the factor there. This should be a really good game. On to the Chiefs' keys to beating the Tennessee Titans. Score before the milking begins. And what I mean by that is, I would like for them, it's hard to say a key to the game is win the toss. If you do win the coin toss, start with the ball. You got to score first in this game if you're the Chiefs, because as soon as the Titans on the board, even before they're on the board, but as soon as they're on the board once, the milking begins. They just run that clock at the same time. There's some teams that do that. There's some other teams that do that, but then sometimes, once teams know 100% they're running, they kind of get stopped. Not Derrick Henry, though. Not Titans offensive line and Derrick Henry. They don't get stopped. So they milk it, and they get the chunk yards at the same time and eventually put points on the board. By that time, the clock is gone. Now, why is this super important for the Chiefs? Is because, you need the time. The clock is your best friend. You need time to get going. Like I said when I was talking about the Titans, the Chiefs or the Titans do not. They're that ultimate team that don't let you get your groove going. Now think of a week ago. I don't think this is going to happen again. I don't think they're going to have a bad start, a sloppy start like they did. But if they were playing the Titans in that game, they never, ever, ever would have came back. They never would have scored 51 points, but mainly they never would have got a groove. They would have got a little bit of a groove going, but the Titans do not let you get that going because their defense is good, but mainly because of that milking of the clock. It's what they do. So you have to start good. You have to get on the board before they really start milking that clock. Work the sidelines. I believe that's the key here in the passing game. I would love 4 to 5 wide, including Travis Kelce out wide. 4 wide would include Travis Kelce at tight end. So even I like Damian Williams. He's getting involved in catching the ball out of the backfield or even downfield. That's key, but he's not going to be a huge threat to the Titans, and that's for a reason. He actually had a decent game last time he played the Titans, but it's not going to be a whole big threat. I think they'll have somebody locked on him. They should definitely use him, and that's where they can get creative. If early in the game, I would like it to be early. Come out with the 4 or 5 wide. And really attack those sidelines. Then I think you could open things up for Damian Williams. The slip screen game. That's another thing I would like when he's in. I really like the slip screen game for him, which we know they'll do. And work the sidelines because the Titans have a very good safety duo with Kevin Byard and Kenny Vaccaro. Very, very good. They also have some damn good linebackers, unlimited amount of them. The sidelines is your friend. I think just keep it on the sideline where it's just one-on-ones with the corners. That's your best bet. And looking at Tremaine Brock, who I talked about when I'm talking about the Titans, he had a monster game against the Ravens last week. And don't get me wrong, the guy can play, but that's the weak link out there. If he's one-on-one out there, to me, that's where you got to target. And Adoree Jackson, solid young talent, but he could be beat as well. Stay away from those safeties, work the sideline, high tempo. I think that's the key there for the offense. I would like Hardman to get involved more. He had a big touchdown against the Titans last time, but that was really his only catch. I think I think he will be. I think he should be more involved. He's a weapon. They're gonna have to use him and the other guys too, but I think he might be the next best weapon really after. Tyreek Hill, I guess Sammy Watkins could be a damn good weapon, but, more than Demarcus Robinson, but they all need to be used. End arounds can be sneaky, jet sweeps, things like that. They can be sneaky, just using the speed to get around the edge, and then there it is, the sideline again. The sideline's your friend. Create those one-on-ones with the corners. The only downside of this, we saw the Titans take the outside away very, very well against the Ravens, but that was a game plan for the Ravens. That's what you needed to do. It's not really a game plan for the Chiefs. So for the Chiefs' sake, I expect them to the defense not to be game planning for that, and that's where your key is. The only people you worry about in that category is Rashaan Evans and Logan Ryan kind of sneaking up. So, just get around all the way to the edge and run upfield with your speed. That speed will kill. And then stack the box early. Really, like I've been saying, there's really no game planning for the Titans offense. There's really no, easy key, realistic key, because, you can game plan to stop Derrick Henry all you want. It's going to be harder. He's going to be tough to stop. I mean, you can't stop him, really. That's what it is. And the Titans will take shots, so that's why you got to be careful. But I think early on in the game, the Titans will do what they do. They're going to run Derrick Henry. They're going to get that clock started. That's what they want to do early. I think your best bet is to stack the box early. Very like right off the bat in this game. That's your best bet, because obviously if you stack the box game plan for the run, Henry will get less yards. He's still going to get yards. He's going to get less yards off the bat, but you don't want to get him going. The only scary part is that, they could take a shot at any time, but I think your best bet is doing it early. They'll take the shots within the game. So maybe the first series, the second series, that's when you need to do it. You need to make a statement right off the bat. You need to stop Derrick Henry, stop the clock from completely melting away, get the ball back, get on the board. I mean, it could be swapped if the Chiefs start with the ball. But even if they start with the ball and you go down there and score, this is what you got to do, because if you're only up 7, the game just started, the Titans will stick to the game plan. They will stick to running the ball. So your best bet is very early, so that's what I would like for them to do. Keep an edge on the play action duty. Suggs or Tano Passanio for me, because the Titans will sneak up on you and run that play action. It's the dagger. Derrick Henry is the king. He's the king of that offense. He's the MVP of the offense. But the dagger is that play action by Tannehill and his weapons. The guy can throw, all right? The guy can throw. So what I think, Frank Clark is too valuable to the run game. And you can, on play action, you can guess. You see it coming, but what you don't know, that's the beauty of play action. What you don't know if it's a run or if it's a pass. You really don't know. That's the beauty of play action. And you can guess pass all you want. You can have a guy guess and pass and go after the quarterback, or you can have a bunch of guys. But if you guess wrong, Derrick Henry's taking the house. If you guess run, then Tannehill will throw it to the house. So I think it's safe to have one guy, one pass rusher, really just, maybe not so much early on, because expect the run early on. And if the Titans get a lead, obviously this isn't going to work. But this could happen early, but not very early on. I think just keep the opposite pass rusher of Frank Clark. Just that's really not going to be that much involved in the run game as it is. I think you can keep him on Tannehill duties, basically. I think, because if you guess right on that play action, it could be a free shot, and that could be a game changer. Like I said, Frank Clark is too valuable to the run game. So I think you can take one of the other edge rushers and I think designate him to Ryan Tannehill, basically, because all it will take was one play. If they set up that big play, because they don't do it a lot, but when they do it, it's money. It's big time. Like I said, it's the dagger. And if you get to Tannehill before he can launch that ball, and even better could happen. I mean, he can let go of the ball. It could be picked. We've seen him get strip sack, here and there. The Chiefs did it to him last time. So that's why I'd say keep somebody on that. Somebody that's not going to add that much value to like stacking the box or stopping the run. That's why it's an edge guy. Ease up on the blitzes, because the Chiefs do have some good blitz packages. I'm not saying don't do any. They have some good blitz packages, but the Ravens are the best blitz team in football. Last 2 years, they're the best blitz team in football, and they blitzed a ton against the Titans, and the Titans dominated it. They wanted them to blitz. They know how to beat that. So, not really a team you want to blitz. And if you do blitz, you get right past Derrick Henry. Even if you are coming in full speed, he's probably going to break the tackle anyways. So it's not going to help in the run game. In the pass game, it can help, but I mean, A.J. Brown, some of these guys are just so quick to get open. It's a quick release. The blitz really ain't going to help on play action. It's going to have to be off the edge. The blitz, yeah, I might have to ease up on the blitzes, but Spagnuolo has some pretty good blitz packages. And for the love of God, tackle low. I don't know what the deal is when Derrick Henry gets loose. Players continue and insist on trying to grab him up by his shoulder pads and his chest, and all he does is stick an arm out, throw you to the ground, turn you around. I mean, if you just hit him in the legs, it's not a guarantee he's going to go down, but I mean, you have to hit the big guy in the legs. He's 6'3" about. You have to hit the big guy in the legs. You got to wrap up the ankles. You can't really do much. It's going to slow him down either way. If you're hitting him up high, it's really not even slow. Maybe a tiny bit you're slowing them down. I really don't understand why players, even veterans like Earl Thomas, like, what are you doing trying to tackle high? Even in the crazy runs he's had all this year, the 99-yard run against the Jags, everybody's just going up high. Like, dive. You're better off just diving, at his ankles, at his legs. Way better off. So That's a key. That's a key. You know, even if it's up the middle, right off the bat, somebody's got to just get in there. You're almost better off diving through the hole and hitting them rather than running in straight up and hitting them. It's not going to do much. If you hit them in the ankles, somebody else will be there to clean it up. You know, it's really the key. You know, there's really no very strategic key against Derrick Henry. It's just get as many bodies on him as you can. First guy's got to hit him low. That's really what it is. So, yeah, those are the keys for me for the Chiefs. But, I mean, the obvious one is just keep on scoring. You know, you keep scoring, you win the game, and you have to start fast. You can't start like they did last week. That's the obvious keys there. We do have predictions already on the channel for this game and for the NFC Championship game all in one video, so check that out. That's straight up picks. Score predictions coming later today from myself, and the other guys at the Goat House have their score predictions on the Patreon. So there's a link in the description. You can check that out. Bunch of content here at the Goat House and always adding more. We have 2 channels. Please subscribe to both. Link in the description and the comments of every single video, and our Twitter, constant NFL action. So check that out. Link in the description down there as well. Appreciate you guys for being here. Thank you for watching. That's going to do it. Goodbye.